What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to RDDC's Heck versus Hell, where the truth we tell. So, we are now entering episode 13. I still keep thinking about the hidden episode that we have going on. I don't know. I haven't heard much feedback whether you want that to go out or not. You gotta tell me. You gotta hit us up on the email. Put it in the comments wherever it is. I don't know if y'all ready for it, quite frankly. So, still a little bit of a delay on that. But today is a good day. Ice Cube didn't have to say it. Okay, let me stop that. So, we've had a lot of things going on recently, and it's just a big event that we're going to have, and we just want to invite you once again, remind you that that is open for everyone regardless of your position in life. You all are doing something in which these pieces of information will be very useful, whether to you, your business, your starting business, your entrepreneurship, whatever it may be. I have to invite you. Join us, sign up. We're going to have that link down below once again. But let's get into this episode, because this episode will have to do with exactly what we are going to teach on there in sense of vision. Okay, because a lot of people go and they get stuck in the day-to-day basis of life. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty of that too. I've gone and I've had to take my steps back because I'm so into the little meticulous things I'm doing. I forget the bigger picture. I forget what I have to do and why I'm doing it. I almost lose passion and zeal and the fire for it because I go and I forget. And it's really easy to get caught up in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So today we're going to talk about priorities. The priorities that make us or break us. The priorities that we have to constantly remind ourselves of. And I want to do a challenge for you guys, because you never are challenged, right? You're never challenged intentionally going into it. Some of you may, some of you may not. It is something great that you may do, but taking the time of day to do that yourself, putting yourself in that position is incredible. Because if you don't take those challenges, take those opportunities to better yourself, the world will do it for you. Because once again, you are purposed, and you have to get to that position to where you can understand what it is that you have to do, the purpose that you were given before you entered this world, because you're a spirit living in time. Take this for example. If you go and you have a box, we'll say a box, or a rat race. That's the biggest one that people talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to getting out of a 9 to 5, the rat race. Once you are in that thing, now that's your whole life. Now that is your whole reason of being. You work to live, live to work, right? Your job is your purpose in what those people see. Still, they can go move up, do better, have another job, whatever it may be. Okay, people use that. People use that in the sense of wanting to bring someone into their service, into a different opportunity, into helping people get out of that rat race. Okay. So whenever you're in it, whenever you're placed in it, that is something similar to what we have. So I wrote down this one notes that was given to me, and I just couldn't shake it. I had to come on here right now, give this to you. We are spiritual beings. Once again, that is what we are. We are spiritual beings living inside the flesh. Say that over and over and over again until it gets through your skull. Once you understand that yourself, then you'll start living like it. But the problem is, we are living in the three-dimensional, materialistic, metaphysical world. Okay? We are living here on this earth, but we don't take for account that we have been placed outside of eternity so we can be placed into time, space, and matter. So our souls, our spirits, don't need that. Our spirits do not need to be held inside of this box. But this is for our good. This is so we can do our will, do our purpose that we were given before we were placed in this body, before we were conceived. Our spirit was already there. So we were taken out of eternity and placed into time. Okay? Another great example, because that's going from 4D to 3D. Another great example that was given just the same way in the same reference point is if you play video games. If you've ever played a video game, a board game, whatever type of game, we get caught up so much in the game where it can taint or mess with our emotions. And depending on what type of person you are, will dictate how you play the game, will dictate your reactions and responses to the game. So that's a great way to evaluate yourself. So one of the challenges I'm going to give you is in regards to that. But right now, to break it down further, break it down, if you go and you see people playing video games 24/7, that's what they do as their profession. They play video games. They're very involved in games. They stream. There's streamers out here streaming video games for 8 hours a day. That's all they do. Play video games, play video games. If you see moments where something doesn't go their way, you'll see their emotions get involved. You'll see their emotions come out. Their emotions are over here. Oh man, this blows. That was horrible. Or some even go and they break their laptops, break their keyboards. It's a lifestyle for them. They are taken from the 3-dimensional and placed in the 2-dimensional. So now they're even more asleep, because when you're awake, you're realizing that you were a 4-dimensional being living inside the 3-dimensional. So you were living on a different set of rules. You were living with a different mindset and a different altitude in how you perceive the world. Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta acknowledge, but those little squeakers, fire alarms. Give me a second. Okay, let me go check that out really quick. Okay, you're gonna hear the edited version, excuse me, of this, but I just went to go handle that. I took one down. That ruined my whole flow. Oh man, I'm kind of upset about that. But life happens, right? We got to we gotta just push past it. That was a challenge and opportunity that I just had, just as you have every single day in your life. Okay? That fire alarm, I could have just decided to ignore it, let it bother me, let it bother you, let it take us from this experience together, let it take us from this learning together, because even as I'm saying this, I still have to learn it myself. Going back to it, whenever they go and people are just living in a 3-dimensional life, they're seeing everything with such a low vibration, such a low frequency, such a low altitude, whatever you want to call it. They are seeing things and they live in a very materialistic way of living. They are focusing on what they have, what they don't have. They don't focus internally. They focus with their 5 external senses: what they see, what they hear, what they smell, what they taste, what they feel. That's all they focus on. Now, the deception can come from the feeling, okay? Because we have emotional feelings. They don't look at that. People that live in that type of lifestyle, they don't look at that all the way. They look at the way that they live sensory wise, with their hands, nose, feet, smell, no eyes, ears. They live in that sense. They focus on what they can sense. Now, if you realize and you want to reinforce the fact that you are a spiritual being, think about how when someone with a bad attitude, let's say you're having a good time. I've used this analogy before. Let's say you're having a good time. Someone that you really love to hang out with, whatever it may be. You're just there, well, having a good time. You're just there having a good time, doing whatever it is you do and doing something that you like to do, and someone else comes out of nowhere with a horrible energy that they carry, like they're just upset, very, very upset. It is very visual. It is very apparent that they are upset with something, that they are angry, frustrated, they are something has thrown them off their keel to the point where they are putting off a certain energy, and you feel it. You feel the tension when they come in that room of you having joy, having fun, contentment, all this good stuff. You still feel it. Now, you're not over here seeing it. You can feel it before you even see it. You can feel it before you even hear it. That right there proves that you are much more powerful than this world tries to portray us to be. That we are not living in this world. This is just so we can start to comprehend and evolve and elevate. Okay? So when it comes to people sleeping like that, that's why people call it a sleep. They're asleep. Wake up, right? Woke. That whole woke movement, I can't back that, because they don't do it right. They don't know they don't know what they're talking about, to be quite frank with you. And it actually upsets me at times, because some of the things they say is just ridiculous. But not to go into that, that could be a whole different conversation, where I'm just talking about that whole new culture of being woke, or understanding deeper. And no, we're not going to talk about all that right now. We could talk about some conspiracy theories. I'd love to open that conversation. But when it comes to the way people live, it's their mentality. Their mind is not elevated or evolved enough to understand that they are not living in this body. But we're so caught up on our day-to-day basis, we don't ever disconnect from this three-dimensional world. We don't disconnect and take a step back. So one of the things that we're going to learn when it comes to the webinar that we're going to have, the event that we're going to have, it's going to be Lex's 3-step execution formula. So it's 3 steps given by her. Beautiful way it's structured. I don't want to give it away right now. Basically, it's so you can realign your focus and take a look at what you're actually here for. Disconnecting, because disconnecting is a huge part of realigning our vision and our focus. So it could be us just going day to day basic. You're in traffic, right? You're in traffic. You get upset. You're just mad. You're furious. And you're blaming everybody else. Oh, silly drivers, stupid drivers. Oh, they're holding up traffic, all this and that. We start going and changing our perception from being the ones that create our reality. As I said in the last episode, we are mini creators, little creators, being the ones that create our reality, to being products of our environment. So we allow the world to create it for us. So now we are stuck in the game. That's why the analogy when it comes to video games is huge, because they only have certain restrictions they can do. Sure, you can go and dress your character up and do this and that with your character and whatever it may be. You have a lot of things you can do. But when it comes to understanding that that is not a part of you, that you are higher and more elevated than that, that's where it can get twisted, because you have those experiences that get in the way of you seeing the truth. And we've talked about that before. Those are experiences that reinforce the lies that you now believe. You're over here trying to manifest. You've been trying to manifest over and over and over, and you think, man, this isn't even real. I can't do this. Why? Because you haven't done it long enough. You haven't been persistent enough. You probably haven't even done it the right way, to the point where you just can't do it. Right? That's what's in your mind. You can't do it because it hasn't worked for me. Every time I try, it doesn't work. It's not real for me. So that makes it a part of your reality. Now it's a belief. Now you're not even open to the idea. So it's those beliefs that dictate whether or not you live in the 3-dimensional or the 4-dimensional, or back to the video games in the 2-dimensional. They're over here getting, once your emotions get involved, like they're over here getting their emotions very deeply involved, to the point where I've heard some people go and they massacre their families because of a video game. That's how deep it goes sometimes. So whenever you start to understand and see that this is not our place of dwelling, that we are placed in time and we are from eternity, that's when you start to open up your mind. It's focusing and meditating just means focusing on. It's focusing on what you want to be true. That is a major key to changing a belief system. When I was in jail, let me tell you a story real quick, right? When I was in jail, first time I got arrested, I started focusing. It was the most time I had on my hands ever because I did not have to make money. I did not have to handle such XYZ responsibilities. I did not have to worry about where my next meal was coming from. I did not have to focus about to watch my back or anything like that because I would just basically not go anywhere. It was an 8-man pod, 6 man, no, 8-man pod, and everybody was just there. It wasn't where you would go and go around the whole jail and you could. No, it was just an 8-man pod. That's where your table was, bathroom, shower. That's how it was for me. So I had a lot of time on my hands. They had a TV, but it was up to what the consensus of watching was, and you still had to get the guard to come in there, change the channel, whatever. That was how my experience was. I did not have anything to draw with. I had a little pen, but I rarely had paper. And it was so much time on my hands that I was able to take that time and use it to focus on the points of my life where I should not even be alive. To be quite real with you, those times where I've been shot at, those times where I should have got arrested a long time ago, those instances where I put myself in so much danger that I should have been to prison by that time, really, just because of the positions I put myself in. And I started realizing, I started meditating because I understood that I was there for a reason and I was trying to figure out the reason. And that's when I started meditating on God. And I was like, okay, let's play this out. I made $10,000 yesterday. I was about to make another 5,000 that day. God cut it off, didn't let it happen. I ended up in jail for some prior thing they had said. I don't know. I don't even know what it was. So in those moments where I was in jail and I was meditating on why I was in that predicament, why I was in that space, I realized it was God calling me to him. It was such beautifully orchestrated, the points and events that had happened, that it was positioned to where there was no other explanation. And I had to look at how all these variables, weigh them all out, and realize how perfectly timed they were, how perfectly orchestrated they were, how there was an instant where I should have gone to jail because that warrant that I got arrested for was the one that actually I got arrested for the next day after I had already made that $10,000. And I should have got arrested in the process of making that money. Now I could break that down really deeply. That'll probably be at another time. That's a story. For anybody listening, that's just a story. But I realized and I meditated and I used that to my advantage. 2 weeks where I just meditated and I focused on what it was God was trying to tell me. And I was able to see so much clearer because at that point in time, a couple months prior, I was to the point where I was questioning God's existence. I was to the point where I didn't even think God was real. To the point where I was just thinking, well, that can't be. That's not true. God isn't real because I've never seen him in my life. God isn't real because everywhere I see, people are over here doing XYZ. And we look at it at such a low vibration and a low altitude and a very limited perception, to where that's where I had to start writing my book too, out of those experiences of understanding that there is so much beauty in those times of trouble. There is so much things that are supposed to come from it. And that's where I have to go and tell you and relay that message, that those things that you went through were not things that were against you. They may have seemed like it, but I'm telling you that rejection was God leading you a different way. That rejection from a job was God telling you that is not where I want you. The instance that traumatized you was so you could help others in those places and bring them to the glory. We have to focus on what it is. That's why we talk so deeply about what we talk about, because these are principles. These are principles that we must see, because there's a difference from three-dimensional principles and four-dimensional principles. If you want to live in the 3D, you're going to live with a victim mentality. You're going to be of the world, partying and taking all these substances so you can go and disconnect from your emotions, so you can run and hide from what you have to confront. Just like a video game. You go, you do bad, you don't own up to it, you just keep going. It teaches you to win by doing certain things, by doing what you know you're not supposed to do. That's why people love video games, because they're able to do what they cannot do here in the three-dimensional world without any consequences. And when it comes to the three-dimensional world, we're not looking and directly correlating the consequences that come with our decisions, because our decisions happen in an instant. It's the consequences that we live with. People say you live with your decisions. No, you live with the consequences, right? That's why people have such a big thing about karma. But that karma, you reap what you sow. Everything you put out is what you get back. How could you expect to get beautiful trees that are just so vibrant and living and provide food for you to never go hungry again if you're over here just throwing the peels out? Just throwing the peels out, putting fast food garbage in your lawn. That's what you're doing. You're reaping what you sow. So whenever you go and you start to understand these principles that we are trying to teach you, that's when you start elevating. We're giving you points of reference. We're giving you analogies and breaking them down so you can elevate yourself. So to meditate is to focus and disconnect. Disconnect so you can focus and see what is real. I've had to do this so many times, and I'm barely getting into the habit of doing it right. Doing it so phenomenally well where I'm getting visions every time I meditate, because I'm starting to actually put my focus into it. I'm starting to actually put my focus into focusing, right? So it's priorities. So one of the things I want you to do, as the challenge that I had mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I want you to go and write down your priorities. Write down what is most important to you, whether that be making money, having good health, having wealth, your family, your relationships, the love that you're seeking, the position that you want, the attention that you want, anything. Write it down and see if that's what you truly want to be on top. Because one of the things that you have to have on top, and it's really hard to do whenever you don't know what it is, finding your purpose. Through these principles, once you have them in place, your purpose will come out by itself. The love of what you love to do, whether it be an art or craft or the form of helping people, it will come out of you by itself. See, greatness is within you. It's not ahead of you. It's not behind you. It's hidden within you. God placed it so beautifully structured to where it's inside of you. Placed it where you wouldn't even think to look. You're over here seeking a job for your greatness. You're over here seeking other people for your greatness. You're trying to get all these relationships so you can network and become great. Greatness is within you. It was placed before you were even conceived. That is your purpose. So to prioritize that, and you have to understand that your purpose is not here to give, just like a tree's purpose isn't placed here for itself. It's placed here to provide shelter, food, and even oxygen for us. That is the purpose of a tree. A tree has incredible amounts of responsibility, but its purpose is for others. The fruit that it bears is for others to eat. The oxygen that it produces, it cannot use. Just in the same way we are purposed, and our purpose is not for us, but for everyone else that we can help. Do that challenge, write down your priorities, and change them up as you see fit. Over time, they will continue to change. This is something that you have to continuously do. If you can, write it on your wall. Write it above your bed. Write it on your door. Wherever it needs to be. Write it on your arm if you have to look at it every single day. And remind yourself what you need to prioritize. That'll help you trim the fat. That'll help you take out anything that doesn't align with what you have to do. It's that focus. So this is a great episode that I was just called and put here to say. And it's going to be one not only leading up to the live event, but also one that will be utilized after. Because this is exactly what is important when it comes to aligning ourselves with our vision and aligning ourselves with our purpose. And I want to remind you once again, you are purposed and you are loved. Now, I want to invite you once again to join us for our RDDC FDS How to Dominate Your Business Space live event. Really, the whole name is RDDC FDS Cultivating Empires Digitally How to Dominate Your Business Space. We invite you, regardless whether you are wanting to start a business, you are a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're an influencer, whatever position you may be in, we want to invite you so you can get this knowledge. Because one of our purpose is to bring our work, just like we had talked about the tree, to bring our work into the world. And whether that be in the form of business or influencing, we have to bring it out of us. So to be able to do it properly, we're going to go over some keys to make sure that we can involve and embody these principles and bring it out into the world as we were meant to do. Once again, these are seeds that we came with. Greatness is within you. It was made predestined to your birth. You have your purpose within you. The seed is within you. The tree is within a seed. You don't go and just find a tree. No, that little seed is what brings out the greatness. And you were meant to bring out your greatness into the world. Otherwise, you'd be failing your purpose. You'd be failing yourself. So come join us. This has been a really good episode. Absolutely loved it. I hope that you picked up every single piece that we dropped, made sure that you check it off, listen to it in a deeper sense rather than just halfway listening to it. I know how that can be. I've done it myself whenever I need to hear something that I really need to listen to, but I replay it. I back it up. I do whatever I have to do so I can get the message. So I hope you get this message. If you're going to join us, join us. If not, we may have a replay, we may not. We may have some clips from it, we may not. Whether we do or don't, that's only something that will be determined after the fact. Hey, maybe it's just so juicy that we don't even really want to give any replays or clips out of it. You never know. But regardless, I hope you all heard today's message. This has been Hector with Heck versus hell, where the truth we tell. And as always, I love you all, and we'll catch you on the flip side.